Hello, I'm Harry Harding, and welcome to my new online series. These are troubling and uncertain times for actors, and indeed for the theatre industry. So I thought, whilst we're all locked down, I would keep in touch with my fellow creatives by talking about our favourite subject: ourselves. In this series, I'll be interviewing fellow actors and creatives on everything from their favourite roles to dream castings to funny backstage mishaps and more. But before we proceed, please don't swear, and please don't say Macbeth. Oh, hang on a minute. Cue the titles. My guest this episode is singer, actor, children's entertainer Emily Heighway-Rodell. Having graduated with a degree in musical theatre from Birmingham Theatre School in 2012, Emily has since taken on a variety of leading roles in shows such as Dracula the Musical, Blitz, The Full Monty, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Bronte, and a national tour of Beauty and the Beast. She has also appeared in several adverts and feature film Miles E. Benedict. But Emily has really excelled in her singing career over the last 3 years, joining the Johnny Cash Roadshow as June Carter in their ongoing UK, European and Scandinavian tour, and the George Michael Story. She has also founded the Barnettes, a 1940s and beyond harmony trio, and co-founded a highly successful ABBA tribute. Emily, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Please don't swear and please don't say Macbeth. Very good. So first of all, how are you? How are you doing in lockdown? Are you coping?
Lockdown is interesting. I think it's hard on performers because we're so used to interaction, but we're getting there. Hopefully soon we'll be free and then we can get back to what we love doing.
Have you been keeping busy? Have you been throwing yourself into other projects, as it were?
Yes. Actually, I'm just looking at now my rhubarb in the garden. It's grown. Yes, I need to make a pie. But yeah, just been doing gardening and bits and bobs around the house. Will, my husband, he's making a bathroom sink unit at the moment out of old wood. So we're just doing anything that needs doing is getting done, which is actually quite nice. You know, it's stuff that we'd never do normally.
Bit of agriculture and a bit of home improvement.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I want to start by talking a bit about your training. You trained in musical theatre at the renowned Birmingham Theatre School.
Yes.
Do you have a standout memory from your time there?
I do actually. It was our first year show and we did the Blitz.
Oh yeah.
Which is obviously about, World War II, and I got to play a character called Carol Blitzstein, which was the lead female, and she went blind in the play, and it was all about, bunking down and being in the tube stations and all singing, and we had the entire drama school involved in it. It was just such a nice memory, and listening, I've had the 40s radio on all day, and listening to that music and Vera Lynn and everybody like that, it just brings it all back because it was so powerful with all the harmonies and stuff in that show. It was just second to none, and yeah, today's brought back a lot of those memories, and it was one of my favorite shows to do as well, The Blitz. It's not very well known, but it's a really, really good play.
That sounds lovely. So who would you say is your favorite character that you've ever played, and why? And was it Carol, or is there another?
I did a tour of Beauty and the Beast, and that was pretty special. I mean, my costume was just out of this world. It was so sparkly, it was so me, it was unbelievable. But I think actually gritty wise, my favourite character has been Charlotte Bronte, because there's so much history there, and I don't think that there is possibly a better role to play than that. There's probably equally as good roles. But she is probably the best one.
Well, that quite nicely brings me on to my next question. Now, I don't normally do this in the interview, talk about productions that I've shared with guests, but in this case, I am going to make an exception and talk about Bronte. So, Bronte for me was more than just another production. It was an experience, and in some ways, it changed my life. It sort of changed the trajectory of my career in a way, because it made me sort of take a look at my life and what I was doing with it and what I wanted to do with it. So my question is, how was the experience of Bronte for you? Was it similar to that?
It was really challenging. I mean, really challenging. I mean, some of the character traits and her moodiness, if you like, I could really relate to, because I can be moody.
No.
Yeah, oh, you'd never know. But there's also part of her that I obviously can't relate to. I'm not an author. I'm not talented with my words like she is, and my writing, and so there's parts of her that I could really relate to, and parts that were basically nothing like me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is always good to play a part like that. I am always a bit disappointed when you get given a role in a play that it's just you know. So it was challenging. It really was, and especially with characters around like Branwell, and he was so troubled, and having the sisters there and seeing the tensions between them. You know, I grew up with brothers, so again, it's a very different scenario.
Right.
Between girls, they can be more difficult, which I think was really apparent in that play. It was challenging. I probably didn't go away from it reflecting on my own life, because it was so different to my own life.
I mean, it was certainly for you. I can imagine it was, as you say, challenging, and also quite draining emotionally and mentally, because you especially, Charlotte, carried the weight of the emotion on her shoulders. You know, I remember that scene where you were cradling Emily's body on the table and weeping over her was just heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah.
So it must have been, you know, tremendously overwhelming to perform.
Yeah, I mean, everybody died except me. So
Exactly.
it was emotional, and I mean, I pretty much didn't leave the stage, I don't think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But I think I was pretty much on the stage the whole time, and I mean, that in itself is stressful, I guess, because if you fluff a line and you're on for that long, you're thinking, oh god, am I leading this? Do they know if will they know what to say if I fluff a line? Obviously everybody was so close by the end of it that
Absolutely.
We had each other's backs. If anything, if a wrong word came out or something, somebody was on it straight away. So yeah, I didn't worry about that towards the end. I think that was just towards the start of the run, and then I think after maybe show 2 we all knew that we had this, so yes. We were okay.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know about you, but I felt that the trip to Haworth was quite a good bonding exercise. for us.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. I loved it. I loved that experience. I think it's quite rare to have that with a play, actually.
Right.
You know, you don't often get to do something like that. So it was really like beneficial to us, I think, to be there, and especially staying in that old stone hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just fascinating. And being in its own grounds, and we could walk to the parsonage and see all the pubs that they talked about. It was just
Wow.
incredible,
Yeah.
really incredible, and it really brought it home, I think. And being able to rehearse in Haworth
Mm.
was invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. It was fantastic. So it's fair to say you've had an exceptional singing career, as well as acting. Um, you're currently involved in no less than 3 professional singing groups. So there's the
Mhm.
Barnetts, which you
Yeah.
founded and which I had the privilege to witness the creation of. There's Twist, which you
Yeah.
co-founded with Kimberly Foster.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's, of course, the Johnny Cash Roadshow, which is a
Hmm.
hugely successful international show.
Yes.
Is it correct that it's the only Johnny Cash tribute act that's actually endorsed by the Cash family?
Yes, it was Caitlin Crowell, I think the name is.
Right.
It's Johnny Cash's granddaughter, and she came to watch the show. And I think her mother is Roseanne Cash. Oh, I could have got my connections wrong, but I think her mum is Roseanne Cash and her name is Caitlin, and she's the one that came to see the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, she went up to Clive, who plays Johnny Cash, afterwards, and said that it was just like her granddad. You wouldn't know any different, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. And if we need any kind of recommendation or anything like that, she said, put my words on your website. You know, I'm happy to support you in that way. So that's pretty special for, you know, a show
Extremely.
like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is really special. And so you
Yeah.
play June Carter. Um,
Yes.
so you're essentially co-lead in the show, which
Yeah,
is
I have a lot less to do.
yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, that is so impressive. You know, you're in this global tribute act endorsed by the Cash family, and you're playing June Carter.
It's such a great
Yeah.
role. I love that show so much. And I I'll be completely honest, I didn't really know much about country before I joined that band. But now I love it. It's one of my favorite genres of music. And
Yeah.
I was talking to the neighbor yesterday about it because he plays guitar. And we were just saying, like, country music, if you've got a live band behind you, it can be as mellow or as upbeat as you want it to be. You can really kind of assemble it around you to be what you want it to be, and there's not many other genres that you can do that with, unless you change the tune or, you know, something like that. But
Sure.
it's special, and there's a lot of country legends that are just fantastic, and I love them now, absolutely love them.
I mean, so you've also involved in the 2 bands that you founded and manage, which are, of course, the Barnetts UK and Twist.
Mhm.
And it's fair to say that both of them have, you know, been hugely successful and are still on the up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
incredible. And the Barnett certainly has grown so much and developed. I mean, how many
Yeah.
of you are there now?
So there's 7 of us now. So we've got
Wow.
basically got 2 teams,
Hmm.
and then an extra because I'm often off doing Johnny Cash in different countries.
Cool.
So yeah, we've got 7 of us, which is incredible. I never thought it would grow to that scale.
Mm,
I mean, this was due to be one of our busiest weekends yet. I think we
cool.
had about 13 gigs booked in 4 days. So that was going to be crazy. Now I'm here in my 40s dress.
Wow. So, I mean, it must be magical, though, to have started something like that and for it to take off the way it has. I mean, you know, you've created something that you love and that you're doing, and that you've turned it into a career. I mean, that you are literally living the dream. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's hard work, you know. It takes a lot of time. I mean, I constantly work on different things, learning songs, picking songs, buying tracks, buying costumes, I'm always working. And another aspect of it is you spend a lot of money setting up something like this. So it's not all kind of roses, but it's all worth it in the end. But I couldn't have asked for more, you know, with the Barnetts. It's just going up and up and up and up, and it's amazing.
So this is a question I ask all the guests. Going back to the acting, is there a particular dream role that you would always love to play?
It sounds really odd. I am not the right person to play this role, if that's the right thing to say. But I would absolutely love to have been able to have played Kim in Miss Saigon.
Oh, okay.
It is by far my favourite musical in the history of mankind, and I just love her. I love everything about her, and I would just, it's like, it would be a dream, absolute dream. That.
That's a great answer, and it's rather appropriate that you picked a musical theatre character, and it's the first one we've had on the show. I think you'd be wonderful. I think you are the right person. So finally, do you have any projects in the future that you'd like to share or talk about?
Well, I'm hoping that everything is going to start again. So it's hard to know what new things are coming up because everything's kind of been put on hold. I mean, I hope there's some new projects out there in the future, but at the moment I'm just concentrating on trying to get everything else back up and running, which would be very, very nice because I miss it so much, and I desperately want to get back to it and start performing again, because when you do it so often and then you're told you can't do it, you're not allowed to do it, it's quite sad, and it does get to you after day after day after day, like just having to stay in the house, go for your one walk a day. I would like to do some more acting. I think singing's taken over quite a lot for me recently, in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, but I would like to do an acting role again in the future.
Perhaps Kim in Miss Saigon.
Well, maybe.
There you go. If there's any casting directors watching, Emily's available. Thank you so much, Emily, for your time. You've been a lovely guest. I wish you all the best. Stay well and stay safe.
Thank you.
Good luck with the decorating of the house as well.
Oh yeah, it's going to be beautiful after lockdown's over.
Brilliant. Well, you'll have to come back on the show and give us an exclusive virtual tour.
Oh yeah, I will. I definitely will. When everything's done and it's like a palace.
Lovely. Well, thank you, Emily. Take care.
You too.
If you would like to be a guest on my show, then send me a private message on Facebook or Instagram. Or if you're lucky enough to have my telephone number, you can send me a WhatsApp message.